Hey guys, it's Dion here, and I'm back with another video about Obsession, the new movie that everyone is literally obsessed with, including myself. But this video is about how Bear gradually becomes the bad guy in Obsession. Now, when I first started watching Obsession, I honestly didn't think Bear was going to end up as the villain. If anything, I actually felt bad for him. He seemed lonely, insecure, and like someone who had been overlooked for most of his life. Even the moments with his cat made him feel more human. I know it sounds funny, but seeing him take care of his cat actually made me think maybe this guy isn't so bad after all. So when Nikki was introduced, I honestly thought this was going to be Bear's chance to turn his life around. At first, it seemed like he had finally found someone who made him feel seen. And because we'd already been shown how lonely Bear was, it was easy to understand why he became so attached to Nikki. But that's exactly what makes his transformation so interesting. Bear doesn't become the bad guy overnight. He becomes the bad guy because he slowly stops seeing Nikki as a person and starts seeing her as the solution to all of his problems. And that's a huge difference. At first, I don't think there's anything wrong with Bear having feelings for Nikki. Everyone has had feelings for a crush. Everyone has wanted to be loved. Those emotions don't make someone a villain. What matters is what you do with those emotions. Instead of accepting Nikki's choices, Bear starts convincing himself that his feelings are more important than what Nikki actually wants. That's the first major step in his downfall. He stops asking himself, does Nikki want this? And starts asking, how do I get what I want? That's when I start losing sympathy for him. Not because he loved Nikki, but because he stopped respecting her as her own person. The more Nikki tried to live her own life, the more Bear became obsessed with the idea that she somehow belonged with him. And that's where loneliness turns into obsession. One thing I really like about Obsession is that it doesn't make Bear evil right away. It lets you watch him slowly change. Every bad decision feels small on its own. Every excuse sounds believable to him. Every rejection pushes him a little further. Until eventually, you realize you're not watching a lonely guy anymore. You're watching someone who's becoming dangerous. The scary part is that I don't even think Bear sees himself as the villain. In his own mind, he's probably the victim. He thinks he's the one who's been hurt. He thinks life has treated him unfairly. And because of that, he convinces himself that everything he does is justified. That's what makes him so unsettling. The most dangerous people aren't always the ones who know what they're doing something wrong. Sometimes they're the ones who genuinely believe they're right. Looking back, the warning signs were there from the beginning. His inability to let things go, his desperate need for validation, his refusal to accept reality. None of these things made him evil by themselves, but together they slowly changed him into someone completely different. By the end of the story, Nikki isn't even a person in Bear's eyes anymore. She's become an obsession. She's become the answer to every problem in his life. And once someone starts believing another person exists to fix them, they're already heading down a dangerous path. That's why I think Bear's downfall works so well. Not because he suddenly becomes evil, but because we slowly watch him cross one line after another until there's nothing left of the person we felt sorry for at the beginning. Like the bedroom scene, where he was on top of her. But we're not going to get into that. Honestly, that's what surprised me the most. When I started this movie, I was rooting for Bear, but by the end, I couldn't defend a single thing he was doing. And that's why I think Bear is such an effective character. His story reminds us that people don't always become villains in one big moment. Sometimes they become villains through a series of small choices, excuses, and obsessions that slowly consume who they are. But that's just my interpretation. Do you think Bear was always destined to become the villain, or do you think there was still a point where he could have changed? Let me know what you think in the comments.